Hey guys, what's going on? So I'm going to use this video to talk about a lot of things, a lot of different things that would have been that I had for like smaller ideas for videos, but then I just didn't. And so one of them is it all stems from this comment essentially. I just got this comment. I like tuning into the videos even though I stopped grinding Rush Royale, and I would like to see some of your higher league gameplay from time to time with some of your newly max units. Your account is looking sweet. Now, my first thought to this was the idea that I haven't done gameplay specifically because the replay bug has been in the game, and I would have to record gameplay as I'm playing the game and then delete it if I didn't think it was good, and then play another game and record that, and that's just a lot of phone space. I mean, like, I get that, like, you know, just deleting it, you could delete it and then it removes the phone space, but I don't know. There's a part of me that just didn't want to go through that entire process of just recording game after game until I get a good game. And so what I rely on in game is just replays. And so the replay bug, if you don't know, has existed basically since the last patch. And they just went, so from 31.0 to now 31.1. There has been a bug in the game where when you go into your replays and you play a replay, at a certain point, it just AFKs both players, and then the game plays out. So like your units, both people's units will just keep attacking as if it was a normal game, but it'll act as if though both players aren't doing anything. And then whoever loses, it then shows up like, the screen shows up where whoever wins, whoever actually won the match, even if they wouldn't have won in the replay. And it's just been a thing. And so basically all replays were useless. And it's the easiest way to show a match that you think is good, because they are recording all of your matches, but it just didn't work. And so that's one of the reasons why I haven't. Another thing that I wanted to go into is the idea that a lot of the time you kind of know who's going to win. That's kind of what Rush Royale is becoming. It's not, there is no, the balance structure in this game is almost non-existent. There is a best deck. There are a lot of worse decks. This deck is pretty good. I have a max Treant, I have a max Gunslinger, I have a max Scrapper, I have a max Trapper, I have a max Kobold, right? I have a Gadget that's a level 100. I have this equipment. I have 6060 crit. What I don't have is a Reincarnation 3 Treant, which would still get beaten by a Twilight Ranger that's Reincarnation 3. Which would still get beaten by a Zeus that's a level 100, which would still get beaten by a Fortuna that's level 100. And now with all of the amount of reincarnation units, the discrepancy of even this being as good as it is, and the idea that I will still get beaten by all of that, people with like 7,700 crit, people with level 100 Zeuses, they're like, I will obviously get beaten by that. And then if I'm playing against a Bruiser deck, a Blade Dancer deck, a Cultist deck, I'll probably beat that, right? So I know that I will probably beat that, and then I know that I will probably lose to that. And so the idea of doing gameplay, it's kind of insane, because most of the time you pretty much know who you're going to beat and who you're going to lose to. And so it'll never really look even. And so you kind of have to show gameplay, or for me personally, because I like talking about, I don't like just showing gameplay just to show gameplay. I did that for like a month, or I guess a couple of weeks, and I hated. My soul started to dissolve when I became a Momo Royale, or when I became I guess what A Friend Gaming is currently right now as well. When I became just I'm just gonna show this replay, and I'm gonna show this replay, and I'm gonna show this replay. that's what replays are. And that's why I don't get a lot of value out of that. That's not to say I never do it. I've done it in the past. But if I don't have something interesting to say about the gameplay, I don't really like showing gameplay. And that's the reason why I haven't done it. But I did want to show this for a very specific reason, and it's the idea that's in my title, and it's if you don't lose, you'll win. Treant is the biggest... you know what? Before I go into this, I did want to say one more thing. I have been playing with this Genie deck, obviously, because I maxed a Genie, and I actually do like this robot deck. And my Flicker is not better. It's obviously like my weakest of the heroes because I paid no attention to it. When it was in when you were getting shards out of Dragon Rift, nobody was using it and it was really bad. And even I, as a person who loves Blooming Dash Blade Dancer, I hated it because you could only do a grid. You had the Gunslinger grid of movement space, and now you have the ability to move anywhere, so it's much better, and so it's really good with Kobold, and it's really good with this deck, because you have the ability to like cycle stuff out, and there's an idea that you can play this no scrapper, and I haven't settled on which one I like more. I think most people play it no scrapper and they just use Harley Quinn. If I had a level 15 Harley Quinn, I would definitely use this over playing a scrapper. But I do like the idea of Scrapper because then you can obviously upgrade your Gunslinger and upgrade your Witch, because those become like the really difficult things to upgrade if you don't have a Zeus. But anyway, so I've been playing around with this deck, and I've been playing around with this deck. I just don't do as well if I'm not playing Treant. Those are arguably, this is definitely the better deck, but I haven't figured out all of the nuances to it. It's not as simple as you would think it would be, because no deck is ever as simple as you think it would be. There is a good way to play everything, and there's a bad way to play everything. And until you figure out those different nuances, if you want an hour-long dissertation about Treant, because I played it so much, I did an entire complete guide for Treant video where I explain all of the different things that you have to do and all the things that you have to think of. And I'm actually doing this video because this is a completely different way to play Treant other than that video. So you can use this as a companion guide, I suppose. But this is utilizing the Friends modifier, which is happening right now. Whenever you use your hero ability, you have a 50% chance for each tile in the center tiles to upgrade that unit. So it only upgrades Forest and Light faction, and so the thing that we're abusing here is upgrading Trappers. Now, I don't even play this game as well as I could have, but this is essentially where I ended up in my last frame. So when I won, this is what was happening. So there is a Witch tile in this tile right here, and instead of building it in the way that I did in my complete guide, where I did here we go. I had a Knight statue in these two corners. I was bouncing off of these two corners, and then my Treant setup was here, and that was all 7. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's what it was. That's more. Maybe I just didn't need. Oh no, I didn't. I left one space. Oh, here we go. I left one space. So I think I did it. Oh, here we go. I did 1, 2, 3 in that video. I did 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I was using those as my 7 Treants. And then I was bouncing Gunslingers right here. And then I had 2 Trappers right here. I think that was my original Knight statue setup. This setup abuses the idea that the way that Gunslinger works is it works in a grid. So if you don't understand how Gunslinger works, if you move your Gunslinger to this spot right here, I thought that it does a T, and it actually does an entire grid. It's everything surrounding it. And that changes a lot. So the way that I do this is if you bounce your gunslinger from here to here, it's giving you the high charisma bonus it's giving it to everything that's in these squares, and then everything that's in these squares. So your center is going to be your ditch spots. Ideally, you would want your kobold squares in that square, in those squares. What you're going to do with the center is you're going to put trappers in the center, and with the friends modifier, you get upgrades so quickly, almost to the point where even in catching scrapper hits with your gunslinger, even if you are really efficient about it, your center squares are probably going to upgrade faster than you can get your gunslinger up as quick as you can, which is I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's really difficult to keep catching gunslinger or to keep catching scrapper hits with so much going on. With you're trying to do a setup, you're trying to get all of your mana activations. This is manaactivation.deck. In this deck, there are no more mana upgrades. Everything is an activation. Your gunslinger is an activation. Your scrapper is an activation. Your treant is an activation. Your trapper is an activation. Everything in this deck is mana activations, and you have to do all of that timing in your head as well. So there's a lot happening. And so what this setup is essentially is I had to utilize Gadget because I'm taking away Night Statue, and so you have to replace that with something. I'm using a regeneration on my... Oh, here, you know what? I can actually go back into my main screen. Of course it's going to do this, because it always does this. A lot of this game is if I take away this thing, I have to replace it with something else. I find that if you take away Mermaid, you have to use regeneration. I have triple counterspell, and I still feel like you need to use regeneration if you're not going to run Mermaid. I don't need Trickster, because I don't need mana as much as I would normally because of Friends. Friends is supposed to be so that you can so that even if you don't catch every single scrapper hit with your gunslinger, that you can still have the mana to keep summoning in, to keep getting new scrapper hit chances. Because there's nothing worse than eating 4 things and then missing a gunslinger upgrade, and then eating 4 things, summoning in 4 things, eating them, and then missing a gunslinger upgrade, and one of your treant goes up 2 levels. That's why Trickster is so important. But with the Friends modifier, and with you getting upgrades so often on your trappers, it alleviates the idea that you need as much mana as you think you would. And so if you don't need the mana, then what you need is the speed. If you're not going to run Night Statue and you run Kobold is not giving you attack speed, because it's not giving you attack speed, it's not giving you crit chance, it's not giving you defense reduction, but what it is giving you is extra stacks of damage. I don't know why, I'm pretty sure I wasn't running Laborer's Reward. What you're getting out of Kobold is you're getting extra damage. And I guess it could be argued that you need the speed and the crit chance and the defense reduction more than the damage. I guess I was just trying this because you're utilizing your Mushroom Nausea. I feel like I have a Kobold and I should be using my Kobold, and I wanted to try this. I think that you get a lot of your speed out of high charisma, and then obviously you're getting it out of gadget tiles and gold tiles. I have a level 100 gadget, so I feel like I should be using that. I'm not running a spear. I'm running a crit bow. Your crit chance is so high that or with my crit being as high as it is, I kind of want to abuse that. If you are at lower crit, if you're at like 2000 crit and you need the damage, I would probably run spear so that you can get more value out of the mushroom nausea. But with my crit as much as it is, and with Kobold upgrading my damage, my crit damage will then skyrocket beyond that, and then my crit bow would do that as well. And then with your trapper, with big game hunting, obviously you're getting better bonuses out of that for crit damage as well. And so it becomes like this crit damage build with a minor in attack speed, because you have the high charisma and the gadget. And so that's basically how the deck works, or the mechanics of the deck. The stats of the deck. How the deck actually works. If I was playing this well, which I don't think I was, because a lot of these tiles are wrong. Or for a lot of the game, a lot of the tiles is wrong. For some reason, I decided to leave this Kobold right here, and I should have left it either here or here, because like I said, your center tiles are the ones that you're not using. When you bounce your gunslingers off of here, you want your Treants here and here. You obviously don't need all of the spaces, because you only want a maximum of 7 Treants, and that is, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 spots. You're disregarding the 3 in the middle, because those should be trapper spots. In the beginning part of this game, I think I do have 3 trappers, and that's just so that you can get more activations out of the friends. And so even if one doesn't upgrade, the others will. I don't know if you need 3 necessarily. And then what ended up happening was I got a gold tile right here. And so because Treant is a forest faction, leaving 1 in the center is also a good it's a good thing that you can do, especially if you get the gold tile in the center, because this will be getting the high charisma activation. It'll be getting upgrades, and every single time it gets an upgrade, all of your Treants will grow as well. So that's also good. If you are more efficient at catching gunslinger hits, I could even see you running 3, or maybe not 3 Treants in the center. But you could mess with this build. You could run like a trapper right here, a trapper right here, and then you could probably do the double T setup. And if you ran Treants in the center, you could, or no, you couldn't even do that. You'd run like 1 Treant in the center. No, I don't like that either. I was trying to figure out a way that you could have Treants in the center that were constantly getting upgrades, because every time your Treant gets an upgrade, it's giving all of your Treants the upgrade. Every time, like 1 gets a stack, all of them basically are getting a stack. And that's how Treant works. And so if you could have 2 in the center, maybe it's maybe I'm thinking too far ahead of this. But anyway, so I should have had this Kobold in either of these 2 squares. There was no reason to have it in this one. And I think that's pretty much it. My Kobold squares were here we go. My Kobold squares were these 2, and I never changed them the entire game. I basically... that's the other thing that I wanted to say. What I should have done is this Treant should have been right here, and this Kobold should have been in either of these spots. Simply moving... actually, I could use this. Simply moving this Treant to here would free up that Kobold square, and then I could reasonably bounce Kobold squares off of these 2. And that would have made my Kobold building much easier, because I don't even think I get to 100 by the end of this match. And then moving that to here would free up that space, because I'm not using these 2 spaces anyway. So yeah, there's like, even watching this game, you'll notice a lot of things that I should have done, and that is like the thing about this deck. It's such a skill-based deck. It's there's so many things that you have to be thinking about in order to play this deck. I have to make sure my sound is on. There's a lot of times where my sound isn't on, and that annoys me in post. But there's a lot of things that you'll notice that I should have done. 64-61 or 64 something was his crit. He's running a level 64 Zeus with this. He's running a robot with all of the standard stuff. Everything is maxed. The reason why I'm actually posting this video is the idea that Treant is the most, it's the longest to take, where it's not good early game. It's the most build-up deck that you'll ever see in this game. Most things scale at a reasonable rate. Treant does basically no damage until it does a massive amount of damage. The difference, and I say this all the time, but it always proves true. The difference between a level 3 Treant and a level 4 Treant is nuts. And when I played against this, I knew that this was going to be a video if I won. I was like, if I win this, I'm going to make this a video. Because I feel like I shouldn't win this. And it's going to feel, the entire time, the imbalance of what Phantom mode has done to this game is very much seen in this gameplay. He is like outpacing me so early. The entire game. I think I win 3 Phantom modes and he wins like 9 Phantoms. He is outpacing the crap out of me. And that's just what Treant is. It's your setup process is just so long. It takes so long. This is the quickest that it can be because of free upgrades, and it still takes so long because your entire build is get a unit to level 7 and start using Treant activations. But you also don't want to not use Treant activations, so then, you know, like you have something at a 3 and now it's a 2 again, and then it's a 3, and then it's a 4, and now it's a 3 again, and now it's a 4 and a 5, and now it's a 4 again. You know, like it takes, even at its most efficient, it takes so long to upgrade your Treants to a level 4. And once you get to level 4, your damage just skyrockets. But yeah, like that's pretty much it. As you can see, all of your units are all mana activations, and so you're having to time everything. I think the trap, you pretty much want to hit Gunslinger or Treant activations like all the time. Gunslinger and Trapper activations, you basically want to hit at the same time, assuming that you have 20 or more seconds left before the boss. I think you want to hit your... You can hit both of your Gunslinger and Trapper activations on the Phantom. In single bosses and double bosses, you'll probably still have Gunslinger activation for your boss. You want to make sure that their Phantom is as big as it can be. If you are already on the defensive with your Trapper, where you want to use it on your boss as opposed to the Phantom, you're already losing. You always want to activate it on the Phantom. The bigger boss that you can give them, the better. And so that's my advice on how to use Trapper activations. When you start getting into triple bosses, you want to use your switches, your Gunslinger switches. Like, you're going to use your Gunslinger switches anyway, but you want to use your Gunslinger switch even more on the Phantom, and then use your Gunslinger mana activation on the bosses, because that's when you want it active the whole time. And so that becomes a lot easier, and it makes more sense like when you start playing. Yeah, I think here I already give away the idea that I'm gonna run like 3 trappers in the center. I don't think you need to run 3 trappers. Obviously, you want to have the hunt masters. You only care about the white-haired hunt masters. I like that you get hunt masters pretty often. I thought it was gonna be like Rogue Shinobi, where you like never get them, or like the Archer and the Ranger. But you get hunt masters pretty regularly. It's not difficult to get hunt masters, which is nice. Yeah, this is wave 4, and I'm just like getting wrecked. The witch tile isn't really affecting me at all because I never have to use it. A lot of this is boss luck. I've played games where I'm getting like Bedlam, like I'm getting like triple Bedlams in like the first 3 bosses, and somebody is just like completely over like damaging me, and like my gunslinger will get Bedlamed, and then I'll have to rebuild another gunslinger. Or my Treant that's now a level 2 will get Bedlamed, and then I'll have to rebuild that, or I'll get Grandmastered really early, and that's going to affect your early game. There is a Bedlam Golem combo somewhere in here. I get to triple bosses really early on, and I'm still getting out damaged because I don't have level 4s, or I have like maybe 1 level 4 or something, and that's where I thought I was going to die. And what ended up happening was I just got really lucky with the switches, and that was the essence of if you don't die, you'll win. This deck just feels like it does no damage early game because it doesn't. And if you can get to level 4s, if you can get all of your Treants to level 4s, they basically become level 4s at the same time, or like maybe a round apart or 2 rounds apart. And you'll just your damage will just skyrocket. The thing about Robot is that it builds so it like to go from like 1 to 20 stacks, your damage scales at a reasonable rate. To go from 20 to, I think 40 is the maximum. Anything after 40, you get a much lower percentage. I think from 1 to 40, you get 5%. And then after that, you get 1% per charge. At which point you want to start building a second robot, because it doesn't make sense to just get the 1% on the one robot. But your damage stack and the concentration of your damage is just so high that it just works really well. The problem with Robot, obviously, is that it's basically a 1-unit deck. It's kind of a 2-unit deck, but it's basically a 1-unit deck. And so if you get Dark Priested, you just die. There's almost nothing you can do. You can save activations. Actually, he's using Successful Tuning, so he can't even save activations for the Cleanse. And he's just going for the greed of getting stacks faster, which is why he's doing so much damage. But I mean, he's also doing so much damage because of the level 64 Zeus and getting auto upgraded, as well as getting auto upgraded every time he upgrades the robot itself. And then with Witch, you're also getting free Witch upgrades as well with the Zeus, which makes that deck even better. It's the best version of that deck. I would assume that he's running triple counterspell, because if he's not, I don't know how he's cleansing. Actually, he might be running the cleanse on Sword, which he is not either. How is he cleansing? Does he have triple counterspell? What's happening? He's running oh no. He's running double Wrath, and he has 1 counterspell. Maybe that's how he dies. Maybe he just gets like Dark Priested 1 time and then he just dies. Not running counterspell, not running triple counterspell is crazy. And then not running most builds run a Mermaid. And if you're not going to run the cleanse on your robot, you should probably be running the cleanse on the Enchant Sword. But he's not doing that either, which is insane. Yeah, he just sent me a 5.9 billion boss, and I sent him a 1. Virus is not really a problem for me. Tribunal isn't, and Gorgon isn't. As long as I can kill it. Yeah. I just get really good boss luck. Dark Priest isn't a problem, Virus isn't a problem, and it's another Gorgon. When you get like Tribunal isn't even a thing either, because Treant is so like protected against that. Warlocks are really bad. Obviously, Grandmaster is the worst. Merging two of my Treants is just awful. Dark Priest, I have enough things on the board that I don't care. I'm starting to get 4s, and I just sent him a 3.2 and he sent me a 1. And so my damage is starting to get much better. Assassin, Dark Priest, Virus. The Assassin is a problem. I think my Gunslinger almost gets Assassin, and then I managed to switch it. I think that's what happens in this one. We're both doing 9 billion damage. Double King Pudding Assassin. Again, King Pudding isn't a thing. I'm running Regeneration and Triple Counterspell. Like, if you're not gonna run Mermaid, you gotta run something. I sent him a 19 and he sends me a 1.9. That's my damage scaling. Like, basically nothing happened to his board, and my board is now sending him a 19 billion damage boss. Like, and again, with all of those things that I've said, my Kobold isn't even a level 7. I should have had it in a better space. I only have 76 Kobold stacks, which isn't great. You should have 100. If you don't have 100, you should be using Enchant Sword. So I could have done better on my Kobolds, and I have a level 3, what's it called? A level 3 in the corner here, Treant. It's not, I didn't even play the best game that I could possibly play, and it's still, like the damage scaling once you get to 4 is crazy. I'd highly recommend Treant. I think that Treant reincarnations make it so much better. The Grove... actually, you know what? I didn't even talk about this in my other video on Treant, and I meant to. And now that it's out, I guess I can now. That's not it. Parasite, the Treant receives 20% critical damage and all Treants on the field and becomes stunned. The stun isn't really that important, but the idea that it receives 20% critical damage, it's because everything is becoming critical damage based. A long time ago, Spear was like the premier equipment to use, and all of a sudden now that every reincarnation thing is all about crit damage, Genie has one, this has one, Bard is all about crit damage. You need a spear. I'm sorry, you need a bow. And this is another way that the bow is going to affect that as well. Increases the chance of Power of the Grove talent triggering by 30%. That's crazy. You're just going to get better double leaves, and getting more leaves is how Treant gets better. And then Corrosive Roots, the infected target has their armor reduced by 10%. 10% is insane. I think that scales as well. All of these scale. I think that goes to 20%. Yeah, at max it gets to 20%, which is insane. Having something else on your board that is giving a defense reduction. No, that Trapper doesn't. Getting that extra 20% back through a Treant is insane. And so yeah, like I think that Treant reincarnations is something I'm going to start working on. I think that Genie reincarnation is just easier because I already maxed the Scrapper, and I would just need, what is it, one copy? I think I need like one copy of Genie now. I need one copy of Genie in the Celestial Shards, and I'll have a reincarnation 1 active Genie. But yeah, I will eventually start doing robot gameplay and Genie gameplay. Those are the 2 things that I'm focusing on. I think Treant is just easier because I've been playing it for so long, and especially with this with this modifier. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.